Welcome back to NFL predictions. Uh, recap. Sil has an amount. I have 2 less than that, and Drew has 5 less than me. So
An amount.
And I'm
yeah.
nondescript.
He just doesn't want to admit
Let's-
that I have like 70% right. It happens.
So anyway, we're 5-5 of our locks on Thursday nights. So lots riding on this amazing game we have for Thursday night football. It's going to be a real close one, real tough one. We got the Buccaneers taking on Philly in Philly, and despite the Eagles getting a win over the fraud Panthers this past week, yeah, I'm not putting my money on that horse. I got the Buccaneers. So,
Yeah, I got the Buccaneers.
Drew.
I also have the Buccaneers.
Another
All right.
Thursday, another lock.
Thursday lock.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
All
it's
right.
really up in the air, guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, next up, we got the London game for this week, which is the Miami Dolphins taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who may be without a head coach before too long. In London, no home field advantage for the Jacksonville Jaguars, though they've played in London more than any other team, so I guess kind of a home field advantage in a way.
The Londonville Jaguars.
I'm gonna get a little cute this week. I got ideas. I got ideas of some things that could happen.
Okay.
And I think one of those things that could happen is Miles Jack having like 2 picks off of Jacoby Brissett and James Robinson running through the Dolphins like a wet paper bag. I might look dumb. I don't care. I'm taking the Jaguars. They're going to get a win. No winless teams this season. Not happening. Jaguars get their win finally. Week 6. Week 5. Week 6. It's week 6. I think I introed this episode as week 5.
It's
anyway,
6, yeah.
I know it's 6, yeah. Jaguars. They're my pick. Drew, what do you got?
I'm going to use my brain and pick Dolphins.
So, you're going to use your brain as well?
Here's the thing, you kind of stole my thunder because I thought I was going to be getting cute. This is the one home game Jacksonville gets the whole year, so I really think they're going to want to impress the home crowd.
Right.
And I'm taking the Jaguars because this and the game against their second game against the Texans are the only games that they stand a chance of winning. And I don't know, it just feels like Trevor Lawrence's time. I could see Jacksonville's defense like stopping Jacoby Brissett. So I had picked the Jaguars.
Damn it! I thought I was gonna get that one back on y'all.
No, that was the one that I
can't wait to
had.
be the only dub on that one. That's gonna be great.
Maybe. All right, next up we got Chiefs at Washington. Chiefs. Drew.
Chiefs.
So.
Yeah, Chiefs. Washington looks bad. Chiefs look really bad too, but the Chiefs bad is still better than most teams in the league. So I'll take the Chiefs.
All right, next up we got the Rams taking on the Giants. Rams, the recipient of our good graces in the Thursday night locks last week. Giants got whooped by the Cowboys. It's kind of, the Giants have been, even though they're like losing a lot of games, they kept all of them pretty close until the game against the Cowboys, and they got absolutely destroyed. I think the Giants have a lot of talent. I think they could be better than they are, but they just can't put it together. And I certainly don't think against the Rams is when they're finally going to get it all together. So I'm taking the Rams. Still, what do you got?
No Saquon, no Danny Dimes, no Kenny Galladay, maybe no Kadarius Toney, Mike Glennon starting. Even if they had all those starters, it'd be a Rams blowout. So this is going to be ugly, Rams.
Drew.
Rams are too good at what they're doing. So Rams are
Football.
going to destroy.
Football is what they're doing. They are very good at that.
I think they really actually just rock, paper, scissors.
Mm.
It's all
Right.
predetermined.
They're really good at winning the coin flip.
Yeah. That's where the dubs come from.
All right. Next up, we got the battle of some bottom feeders in the Houston Texans taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Colts almost got an upset victory over the Ravens on Monday Night Football. And then they blew a 16-point lead with 10.
19.
No, at the time I'm about to say it was 16. So can you? Thanks. They blew a 16-point lead with 10 minutes left on the clock. Yeah. I don't know. This game's gonna be ugly. I'm not gonna watch it, but I'll have the Colts winning. So
Yeah, I have the Colts. The Texans looked good against a patchwork Patriots team, which isn't saying much, but I like the Colts a little more. It's going to be a gross game, though.
Drew.
Colts.
Colts. What do you think is going to happen first? The Texans getting a win, or us finally picking the Texans?
The Texans getting a win.
They'll play a trash team and win.
Well,
and we won't believe in them.
Yeah, but we don't believe in the Jaguars either, and two of us picked the Jaguars this week.
It's their home game.
And?
All right,
they get
next
one a
up,
year.
We got the Cincinnati Bengals coming up fresh off of a loss to the Packers, taking on the Lions, who lost a heartbreaking one against the Vikings.
Oh, so heartbreaking.
Oh, so heartbreaking. They lost off of a 54-plus yard field goal as time expired 2 weeks in a row. That's rough, buddy.
And one of them set the record.
Yeah, Bengals. Still.
Yeah, I think the Lions could win this game. The Lions are not that. They're not a no-win team for sure. They're not very good, but they deserve a win or two. But yeah, I just had to stick the Bengals.
In the history
like probably ever, yeah. But yeah, Bengals.
All right, Drew, you rooting for your boys?
I would, but in the spirit of trying to stay above 50%, I'm going to make an intelligent decision and not a heartfelt decision and choose the Bengals because the Bengals have performed better than the Lions, and I think they're just going to be able to beat them.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Bengals lock. Next up, we have an NFC North rivalry match, the oldest rivalry in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers heading into Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. And it's going to be a lot more interesting than you might have thought at the beginning of the season. We do have Jair on IR for another week or two. We have David Bakhtiari is, of course, out. Zadarius Smith is out. Elton Jenkins is coming back, as is Josh Myers. Both of them were out in the game match against the Bengals. The Bears have gotten a couple things going. Beat the Bengals, generating a lot of turnovers. Beat the Raiders. They might be without Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks. Both are currently questionable on their the injury report. Their Jermaine Ifedi is at the starting left tackle. He's out. And I think it's going to be an interesting one. It's not one I'm as comfortable with as I would be, obviously, if we had Bakhtiari, Z Smith or Jair, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Justin Fields is playing fine. I think he's going to continue to play fine. But I trust Aaron Rodgers far more than I trust a rookie QB with plays being called by Matt Nagy. Packers. Sil, what do you got?
Mac will play, and play calling is by Bill Lazor. Not that that's much better. By already Nagy's relinquished play calling. But I picked the Packers.
All right. Can we hit that a little louder though? I don't think the mic picked it up.
Yeah, I picked the Packers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Drew, what do you got?
Packers.
Hell yeah. All right. Chargers v. Ravens. Both teams won close ones. One had a slightly more impressive win because the Browns are actually good, and the other one looked god-awful for 3 quarters and then had to pull some magic out of their ass right at the end. I made the mistake of going against the Chargers last week, despite what my heart told me to do. So, bolt up. I'm going with the Chargers. Drew, what do you got?
I'm gonna have to probably also go Chargers. The Ravens, while they're good compared to other things, I just think that the Chargers are going to be better at the end of the day. So,
all right. So, what do you got?
The Ravens are perhaps second only to the Seahawks. Maybe the Seahawks are worse in getting carried by their QB. That team has nothing else going for it other than Lamar, and some of his receivers are good. That defense is suspect. The rest of the offense doesn't look very good. That is just a Lamar show over there. And they're playing like an actual team that has players on both sides in the Chargers. And the Chargers are looking like the real deal of the AFC up there, like with the Bills and the Browns. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go Chargers.
All right. Next up, we got Vikings taking on the fraud Panthers in Carolina. Vikings pulled off the last-second win against the Lions. Panthers lost to the Eagles by a field goal. Stephon Gilmore still not there. And I don't think it's going to matter much because the Vikings, they have a much more dynamic offense, better receivers, better running back, maybe. I don't know. Christian McCaffrey's not looking as good as he once did. And Dalvin Cook is still Dalvin Cook. There's a lot of close games this week. I'm going Vikings. I don't trust the Panthers. I don't really trust the Vikings either, but I really don't trust the Panthers and Sam Darnold. Still.
This was the hardest game of the week for me to pick. I kept going back and forth. McCaffrey is doubtful and Cook is questionable, I think. So I just assumed that they would both be out. And I think that the Panthers are probably a little better. So I picked them, but it doesn't seem like it'll be a fun game to watch. Neither team is very good, especially if they don't have their respective running backs.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going Panthers.
All right, Drew, what do you got?
I am gonna have to go. I'm gonna go Vikings. Looking at the other games the Panthers have played recently, I don't know. They lost against some questionable teams, if I'm remembering the records correct. And I mean the Vikings also have, but it's more understandable with the Vikings. And I think the Vikings are going to squeak by. I think it's going to be close. So Vikings.
All right. Next up, we have the undefeated Cardinals taking on the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh, spicy.
The Browns have put on some shows of absolute dominance, and they've also lost some heartbreakers against the Chargers and the Chiefs. Cardinals have won a lot of close ones, have looked bad in some games, still got the win. I'm looking at the Vikings game, the Jaguars game, but they've also beaten the Rams pretty handedly They just beat the Niners pretty handedly. So, I mean, they're undefeated. They certainly could keep that rolling, but I don't think they will. I'm going with the Browns to kind of take last week's loss, kind of look inward, and come out with some fire. I don't think there'll be an undefeated team to finish this season. Cardinals are the only ones left. I think this is the week they finally get their loss. I'm going with the Browns. Sil, what do you got?
I had to think pretty hard about this one as well because these are both two pretty good teams. But ended up picking the Cardinals because the Browns defense looked like it didn't look very good. It it the Chargers moved at will against them in that game. And the Cardinals have one of the best offenses in the league right now if everyone stays healthy. Kyler Murray looks like an MVP candidate. Just really, the Cardinals have shown that they are the team to beat, and I'm not going to pick against them until they show otherwise. Cardinals.
All right, Drew, what do you got?
I agree with you when you say the Cardinals. There's not going to be an undefeated team at the end. I really don't. And of the teams that are listed before me, Browns are one of the few I think that are capable of taking down the Cardinals. So I am going to say the Browns are going to give them their first L.
All right. Next up, we have the Battle of the AFC West with the Raiders taking on the Broncos. Both of them coming off of losses. Raiders lost to the Bears. Just couldn't get anything going on offense. Broncos, their defense fell apart when facing probably the worst offense they've faced all year, which is problematic. Not only did Najee Harris run all over them, but Ben Roethlisberger was actually passing the ball on them with efficiency. Broncos are just they just don't look good. They got a lot of early wins. I think that was mostly just schedule. Raiders, I think, are slightly more of the real deal. Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs. Are the Broncos going to be able to stop them? Are the Broncos going to be able to stop Henry Ruggs? I don't think the Broncos' defense is as legit as people think it is, and I certainly don't trust their offense. Yeah, just can't trust them to keep it all together anymore. Raiders are going to win, and the Broncos are going to keep falling. So, what do you got?
This was also not a game that I thought would be very fun to watch. It's just weird and gross. Both teams are like started strong and are starting to look worse as we get into the mid-season mark. Yeah, I don't really like either of these teams to win this game, but I ended up going with the Broncos, despite Teddy turnover. And like I just think the Raiders really self-destructed last week, and I know the Broncos defense did too. But the Broncos were a good throw from sending that game to overtime, and you know they rallied, they showed some fight. I think that defense should bounce back harder than the Raiders' whole team will bounce back. So yeah, I went Broncos.
Also worth mentioning, because I didn't mention it, John Gruden is out. He's officially resigned. Rip Bozo. I'm still picking the Raiders anyway because I don't attribute any of their earlier success to John Gruden at all. I think it'll be a non-factor, the fact that he's gone. Drew, what is your pick?
When I was looking through like the previous weeks and all the stuff that both teams have done, they both share a trend of rotting from the inside out and slowly getting worse and degrading, and the sickly stench of failure is slowly rising from both. But I think at their peaks, peaks meaning week one, at their peaks, I think the Raiders were superior. And so if hypothetically they perform good, the Raiders, I think good is better than the Broncos good. That's my logic, Raiders.
All right. Next up, we have America's Game. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the New England Patriots in the age-old question of who can ESPN dick ride harder, Dallas or New England. Unfortunately for New England, Tom Brady has left town, so ESPN will give that edge back to Dallas and be, all week long. As much as I believe Mac Jones is actually the real deal, much to my eternal irritation, Patriots are just not very good, and the Cowboys are finally putting it all together. Yeah, Cowboys. They're going to win. Easy. Drew, what do you got?
I'm going to have to agree. Cowboys, the Patriots have not been doing too hot, so just I don't think it's going to be too much of a decision, so Cowboys.
All right, so
Yeah, this is the insufferable of the worst. Did you see what I did there with the wordplay? Insufferable of the worst fan bases in sports, or in at least the NFL. But yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, the Cowboys are definitely going to win this game.
Yep. All right, next up we got Sunday Night Football. Prime time. Seahawks, Steelers. I don't like either of these teams. I think they're both not very good this year. They're getting exposed week in and week out. But same stipulation as before. If Najee Harris averages like 4 yards per carry, Steelers are going to win. And I don't trust the Seahawks defense for shit. So I'm going with Steelers. Drew, what do you got?
I don't know. It's very. I think it's like kind of hard to pick because both teams have like. In my eyes, see, I don't have the knowledge, but in my eyes, that what it looks like they performed very similarly. That's just me, though. I don't have the eye for the knowledge or whatever. So if I had to pick, I don't like the Seahawks. They're dumb, so I'm gonna pick the Steelers. That's my logic.
That's good enough.
I don't like. I just don't like them. Whenever we come up to one of their games, I'm like, fuck the Seahawks. I don't know. They're the lamest of the bird teams. So
absolutely. Sil, what do you got?
As I alluded to earlier, the Seattle Seahawks are propped up entirely by Russell Wilson being an amazing quarterback, and because they don't have a defense, they don't have a run game. They're the Seahawks, and Russell Wilson is hurt. They're starting Geno Smith, so
Blake Bortles. He's coming into town. They just signed him up. Blake Bortles.
Is that real?
That is real. I don't know if they've officially signed him yet. They're signing
that
him.
Might be worse.
That's a little better. Come on.
But yeah, definitely the Steelers. Even though Mike Tomlin is a fraud and Najee will be schemed terribly, he still should get 4 yards a carry because of the Seahawks run defense being lathered in butter before the game. Yeah, give me the Steelers.
Hey, you want to know a fun fact?
I do.
Blake Bortles has been to a conference championship more recently than Russell Wilson has.
That's true.
All right, Monday Night Football, final game of the week. A slightly smaller schedule this week, only 14 games instead of the full 16. Bye weeks are starting up around the league. For our final game, the Buffalo Bills are taking on the Tennessee Titans. I think we're all going to have the same answer on this one. Bills might be the best team in football, and the Titans are complete frauds who are dependent on Derrick Henry to carry them to victory. He's been unable to do that a whole lot this season. They lost to the Jets, and the Bills have performed 2 of the 3 shutout victories we've seen so far this season. The Bills. Drew?
Bills.
Sil?
The Titans lost to the Jets. Bills.
Wait, they did? Oof.
Yeah, the Titans lost to the Jets.
I literally mentioned that 10 seconds ago.
I didn't. I was not listening.
You already forgot.
I didn't even hear you. Not gonna be.
All right. Another week in the books. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you made it this far,
They
subscribe.
did.
I mean, you
Oh.
watched this much anyway. You know,
Oh.
might as well. We got other content on the channel, podcast, other stuff. Check it out.
Yep.
Deuces.
Deuces.